good morning and good evening depending on where you're joining us from. A very warm welcome to the day 4 of the first ever Bhagavad Gita Summit by JK Yogi. We are extremely honored and excited to have Gloria Arrieira speak to us on the topic Understanding Priorities and Choosing the Best. Let's welcome her with a big round of applause.
One thing we have to know, many times desire and dharma, they are opposed to each other. At that time, you have to know that priority is dharma, because more than that is the peace, the tranquility, that happiness that everybody wants. So that's why dharma becomes the most important. And so we can choose, with understanding, we can choose really what is best for us and do the needful. Then at the end, after doing it, we are able to receive whatever comes to us and learn from that. Try again or change your way of action, whatever, in the attitude that what comes to me is exactly the result of the action done by me. So this is the capacity to choose the best action. And when we analyze our own desires and priorities and have always this understanding of an order that maintains the whole world functioning, that is Ishvara. Swami Chinmayananda used to say, in anything we do, we have to know that Ishvara, Bhagavan, it always is in the same business as we are. So we have to take him as part of the business. And then in that way, I do my best and let whatever comes be received by me. And in this way, we can see that the Bhagavad Gita is, through all the teachings of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, everything is there. Sometimes when we look into the Upanishads, we see very well-prepared students that we feel so far away from them. Their style of life, their preparedness, even the questions sometimes that they make, cannot even understand so highly they think. But in the Gita, we have this Arjuna, which is so much near us. The questions that he does, sometimes studying the Gita, even in teaching, I feel like saying, yes, Arjuna. If I was there, I would like to have asked exactly that. Because he's so human, he's so like us. And so Shri Krishna teaches for a person with whom we can identify completely. And it's so beautiful, the teaching, the questions and the answers and everything. It's indeed a day that we have to honor the Bhagavad Gita, because it's our daily teaching, it's our daily life. And there's nothing like the Gita. There's nothing like this Vaidika Dharma. Lucky are the people who are born under the Vaidika Dharma, or all of us that, even though not being born in the Vaidika Dharma, can discover it someday and be blessed by the same teaching.
Namaste and a very warm welcome to all the participants, and it is my humble privilege to today introduce and welcome Swami Atmashraddhananda to our Bhagavad Gita Summit 2021. Namaste Swamiji, Pranam, a very warm welcome to you.
So Karma Yoga is doing action without getting caught by the selfishness which is associated with action. So anything that we do is an action. But only that action can be called Karma Yoga, wherein the self is not the goal, which means ego is not the goal, desires are not the goal. People have all kinds of desires and motives for work. So some people work for money, and some people work for fame, some work for becoming, well positioned. They want power, or some people work because they want to leave some mark behind. Some people, different motives are there for people to take up action. But there can be some people whose none of these, we'll call them as worldly motives. They are not there. Their aim is spiritual motive. And the spiritual motive, they seek to only do good to others because it will do good to the world. It will do good to them also. They have no tendency for any possessiveness or self-gratification. Somehow the transformation has happened to them. And they find a beautiful description of such people. Say, Yoginaha karma kurvantu. Such people, they do action. Sangam tyaktva. They give up all attachment or expectations. Atmashuddhaye, for their own self-purification. So, the journey from lower self to higher self, the journey from the painful self to the blissful self, as we all find within us, is something like we discover our own divine nature. In one way, there is no such journey. It's already we are divine. According to Vedanta, we are already divine. You are not going to become divine. You are already divine. You are not going to become eternal. You are already eternal. But then in another way, we are actually caught up. We are so deeply attached to our lower self. We even can't think that we have a higher self. But there is this journey that happens, and that is called sadhana, that's called doing yoga. So a karma yogi is one who transforms his attitude, his motive, from a worldly motive to a spiritual motive. So he transforms from being a very self-centered being to a God-centered person. He could do it by thinking of himself as divine, thinking of himself as Atman, or thinking of himself as a devotee, that I am a devotee of the Lord, and the Lord is showing me the way, and all that actions I do is like an offering to him. Some people have that attitude. So whatever they do, in the Gita itself we find that Shri Krishna says, Yat karoshi yadashnasi, whatever you do, whatever you eat, you offer it to me. And as you go on offering to the Lord, what happens? Your sense of possessing or possessiveness, that comes down. That becomes less and less. So your lower self, so to say, get disseminated. So Karma Yoga is a journey where we try to overcome our ego-centered or ego-driven attachments and try to discover that we are actually not going to become happy through that. We are going to become happy only when we discover real self. It is said in the Upanishads that if you discover your real self, you will be free from all sorrow. In the famous Chandogya Upanishad, we find the statement, Shokam tarati atmavita. The knower of the Atman is without shoka. How remarkable. That you have no pain. See how many ways we become painful or sorrowful throughout the day. Shokasthani sahasrani. In the Hitopadesh, we find the statement that there are so many ways and so many places in which we develop sorrow, we become unhappy. But there is also one state where you will not become unhappy at all. And that is the real purpose of any yoga. How to bring happiness in life, a lasting happiness in life.